Sunmark community. Today is a very, very special day because we have a very special guest. Actually, we have some very special guests. And before we get started, I want to make sure that I thank the people that helped make this happen today. All right, so first of all, we have a lot of year 12 and 13 IB students, A-level students that are helping to organize this event, and a big thank you to them. All right? Secondly, we have our moderator, Hadiza, who I'll introduce in 2 seconds again. And today, because this is such a special event, we also have, for the first time at our Think and Thrive event, we have some year 6 students who are part of the Young Entrepreneurs group. And I'm really, really happy to have all of you here. This is a really special occasion for us and for the other students who are young entrepreneurs, part of that group here at school. So again, Dr. Hopkins, thank you for coming. Mr. Mankani, thank you for coming. And today we have our special guest. It is Mr. Rizwan Sajan. If you live in Dubai, you know who he is, all right? Because he's always in the papers, all right? And of course, you will know his company, Danube. Danube does a lot of different things, including, of course, they have their home retail stores, but lately, they've also gone into property developments. And it is an absolute pleasure to have him here today to talk to you guys about his journey. Where did he start? How did he get to where he is? So now I will ask Hadiza, who is our moderator. She will come to the stage and she will take her seat here. And Mr. Sajan, you can come and take your seat here over in this chair. And thank you very much.
Before we get into everything, I think it's safe to say we like a little intro to who you really are so the audience understands. I've done my research, maybe they haven't. So, who are you? What is your daily basis? Like, how do you carry on with your day?
First of all, I would like to thank Ajay for calling me over here. And I'm so happy to meet you guys. The only thing what I'm not liking is everybody is so serious. So guys, smile. I like to smile, talk. And I also want the people who is here also should be smiling all the time. No seriousness. We're not going to talk anything serious. All simple things. You will understand what my journey was and how I reached over there. And you will really love this. So my name is Rizwan Sajan, and I am the owner of a company called Danube Group. Danube Group, you know, is into various activities. We started as a building material company. Then we moved into retail, home retail improvement, which is called Danube Home, which means you can buy everything under one roof for your improvement of your house. And then we moved into property. These are the 3 basic verticals which we have in our company. We have about 4,000 people working for me. So that's the basic introduction of myself.
So, what was the initial inspiration you wanted to start up?
If I tell you, the initial inspiration was by chance. Why I would say by chance? Because I was working in Kuwait for my uncle, and I started working with him at the age of 18. And by the time I started my business, I worked with him for 8 years, so 18 plus 8, 26 years. I would probably never think of starting my company. The reason is I was very happy over there. I was in the sales in that particular company in Kuwait. I was making about 15 to 20,000 dirhams. I'm talking about way before 30 years ago. 15 to 20,000 dirhams for a person like me who was not that qualified, because I had to leave my education to start working in Kuwait because my father had expired when I was only 16 years old. So that money was good enough. I'm talking about 30 years ago. Can you imagine 30 years ago, 20,000 dirhams is today 50, 60,000 dirhams a month minimum. I would never leave that company, but fate had differently for me. Saddam Hussein, have you heard about Saddam Hussein? Okay, Saddam Hussein, there was an Iraq war, Kuwait-Iraq war, where Kuwait was invaded by a gentleman called Saddam Hussein of Iraq. Invaded means he took over the country, Kuwait, and we all had to run away from there, go to India. So I left my job. I had to, everything was shattered because I was earning at that time a big money, and I was without a job, not knowing what to do. So then I started looking for another opportunity, but because I was not educated, nobody would offer me a job. They would say that, okay, you are a good salesman, but how would we know that you are a good salesman? And I did not find any job until one of my friends to whom I was selling, he offered me a job in Dubai. And I came to work for him in Dubai. I worked for him for 1 year. And after that I realized that when I started working for him, I started making good money for this company. So then I told my wife, look, this is the time I think I should start my own company, because wherever I work, I've made really good money for my bosses. I should start my own company now. And that's the time I started my own company, which is called Danube. So answering to your question, if Saddam Hussein had not come to Kuwait, I would have probably never left that job in Kuwait. I would be still in Kuwait and probably working in Kuwait and very happy about it. So you know, destiny sometimes give you that opportunity. It depends on how you pick up that opportunity and try to make it big.
That's fantastic. What challenges did you have, of course, including the invasion? What challenges did you have to overcome in the beginning?
You see, the biggest challenge for anybody when you want to start a company is the finance. Okay, you may have a lot of ideas when you want to start a company, but the biggest challenge is the money. Anybody who wants to start a company, they would say, okay, I have a lot of ideas, I have many, but where do I get the money from? And I had in my pocket at that particular time, the money which I made working for my friend in Kuwait, in Dubai, was 100,000 dirhams. Now 100,000 dirhams is not big enough to start any company, because at 100,000 dirhams, out of it 75,000 went in forming my company, renting an office over there, buying a car for myself. Now that 25,000 dirhams I gave it to my wife, and I said, look, 6 months I don't have salary, you have to manage this 25,000 dirhams in 6 months somehow, and I will start this company. So basically the 100,000 dirhams which I had was gone into only formation of the company. But what we decided to do was brokerage, indenting. It's called in our language it's called indenting. Indenting is brokerage. I mean, somebody wants to buy and somebody wants to sell, and we get a commission on that. Because of the experience which I had in Kuwait, I knew all the suppliers in Kuwait. I knew I had to only search for the buyers in the new market where I'm going to buy. So indenting, I did not have any staff. My wife came and worked for me initially. So with both of us, I should go in the market and she should do the back office work. And that's how I started my company. And that's the biggest, like I said, we asked me the biggest challenge was the money. In spite of having knowledge, but somehow we got some good agencies while I was working in Dubai, and because of that, my company started moving.
Knowing that you're the founder and CEO of the new group with $1.3 billion turnover annually, how did you decide where to start off in terms of availability of location?
It happened gradually. I would say it did not happen overnight. So when we started 10 billion as a brokerage company, after 3-4 years we started into a trading company. After trading, we decided we'll go into Danube Home, because everybody was buying houses in Dubai in 2006, 2007, 2008. And if you remember, a lot of people were moving from a rented apartment into buying their own apartment. At that time, we decided that yes, we people are planning to renovate their houses and all that, and we should have start a home furnishing division. And that's how we started this company called Danube Home. After that, we realized that the market is really catching up, and we should now start into Danube property. So it's all gradual process. It's not an overnight process. It's like every year growing by 30-40% in whatever field we were. And today, alhamdulillah, we have this turnover of $1.3 billion, 4,000 people working for me. And still we have a long plan to go. Hopefully in another 5 years, with another story we'll be able to create.
That's truly inspiring. What would you say you learn on a daily basis? Because I know with your staff, you must have things that you have to find out more about, and like just the encouragement. Like, how do you learn more?
The people around me teach me every day. You see what happens is when you are running such a big empire, you need to hire the right people who can work for you, and probably people who are smarter than you, because then only they can teach you what you have to do. And that would, we are very blessed to have some fantastic staff working for me, and they are the ones who keep guiding me, sir, let's do this, let's do that, and I keep listening to them, trying to understand what is the next step we need to do. And every day is a learning process. I wouldn't say that even after 15, 20 years I will stop learning. Every day we learn something. Yesterday we were thinking about how, okay, we have already started digitalization, but how we can take forward the digitalization of Danube Home into a different level. And there was some manager who came and told me that this is the way that we should take it forward. So we hired somebody from the Switzerland who is going to come and help us in moving it forward to digitalization. So every day it's a learning process, and we need to move according to the market. If you do not move according to the market, whatever I have created will be washed away because somebody else will take my place. It's a simple example I would tell you. Before 10 years or 15 years, if you know the Nokia mobile, how Nokia mobile, everybody was using the Nokia mobile. Today nobody wants to even look at Nokia mobile because they did not catch up with the speed which the whole mobile industry was moving. So if you need to stay ahead in the competition, you need to innovate everything, everything. You need to do something different. You need to be ahead of the market, and that's the only way.
It's just super inspiring every time you give advice. But I know everyone in the audience right now is super intrigued and interested in the business world. What advice would you give all of us?
See, the biggest advice, what I would say is you need to realize what potential do you have. Like many people are born with different capabilities. Like I was a good salesperson, so I decided that I'm going to start selling and I'm going to start improvising on the sales and all that. Somebody will be good in finance, somebody will be good in marketing, somebody will be good in cryptos. So you need to figure out what is your strength, and you need to really nail it down further. Go into the subject detail that you should be a master of that. And once you are master that, then you try to do business in that. Because if you try to do everything on one time, it may not be possible. But I'm sure at this age of your life, you know what are you good at. If somebody wants to become a chef and he wants to start a restaurant, somebody wants to start a dancing class and he wants to do something about the dancing. So, and there are opportunities today are so much available compared to the opportunities which we have in our age because of all the internet and the digital world which we are living, or the social media world we are living. I mean, when I talk to the youngsters over here, they have so much of knowledge about acquisition, about mergers, about startups, and taking the company to a different level. And this opportunity which you are into, my friend, you all can do wonders. But for that, you need to master something, whatever field you are into 100, not even 100%, more than 150%, and then you start doing something on your own.
Including having potential, of course, what do you think are the qualities that can make a good entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur, like I said, yes, first of all, you need to master everything, and then you need to manage your people. Like I said today, whatever the company, what the speed which we are going, it won't be possible if I didn't have the right people working for me. And when you want to have that right people working for you, you need to know exactly how to manage these people. Because when you have people working for you, they require an encouragement. Okay, money is the one thing which they require, but more than the money, they require the encouragement, the guidance, the skills of what to move forward. So they will also guide you in many things. But that entrepreneur skill of managing the people is very, very important. Whether you're managing somebody who is a houseboy or if you're managing one of the best CEO of your company. The management skill is very, very important for any entrepreneur who wants to go further in life.
So what has worked for you? Let's talk about marketing now. What has worked for you in terms of marketing?
Marketing, I love marketing. Why I love marketing? Because that is a subject I always believe in. What has worked for me? Now, I give you a simple example. Danube Building Material, when we formed, I wanted to do marketing for Danube Building Material because nobody was doing marketing in a building material company. You will never find anybody doing marketing in building material company. But we decided to want to do some marketing on the building material. So, at that particular time, I didn't have the budget to do marketing, but I still wanted to do that. At that time, the social media was also not so actively involved. I'm talking about 25, 26 years ago when I started my Danube Building Material. So at that time, if you look at the four-wheel cars, they had a tire behind the four-wheel. So we decided to make wheel covers. We decided to make the wheel covers and put on that tire on the car. And my people, we made about 1,000 wheel covers. We said that Danube #1 building material, and we said plywood, timber, whatever I'm selling, and the telephone number. So we started putting this, we put about 1,000 first, and 1,000 cars are going around the city. It costed me only 20,000 dirhams. 20 dirhams was a wheel cover cost. So in the 20,000 dirhams, I had 1,000 wheel covers, which was going across the city, focusing on my name, Danube, selling plywood timber. So this is how we started the first. But I want to share a small joke in this. When I started this, I would have probably printed much more, but we had an incident where we had to stop this printing the wheel cover. The incident was in the morning, 8 o'clock, one local Amarati person called. He says, "This is Danube." My manager who was working there, he picked up the phone. He said, "Yes, this is Danube." "Who is the manager of the company? Who is the owner of the company?" "The owner is not, sir. I am the manager. Tell me what you want, sir." He says, "Who asked, no, you come to the police station now." I said, "Why should I come to the police station? You tell me what wrong I have done." He says, "Who asked you to put the wheel cover on my car without my permission?" Because normally, when the car is, at that time the wheel cover was, the car was parked, our man used to go and just put the wheel cover. And everybody was happy that the tire is protected, so we never had a problem. This particular local Amarati had a problem because he says, I said, "But my manager said, we're giving you free, sir. If you don't want, I will send my man, we'll remove it for you." That is not the question. Why did you put? And he started making big. So my manager tried to pull him down. And finally we asked him, "Sir, what is the problem?" He said, "I parked my car in Mall of the Emirates and I could not find my car. For the simple reason, whenever he used to park, he used to pass by his car and think that this is not my car because of the wheel cover, It was a summer month, so he was very, very angry with us, But this is what small incidents do happen. And so after that we decided, no, we don't want to put the wheel cover more. But in short, answering to your question, yes, marketing is very, very important. And from the initial days, we started marketing our company in whatever way possible. Now, since you all guys are sitting in this room, I want to ask you one simple question. We have about 2,000 building material companies in UAE. Okay, 2,000 building materials company in UAE. I want you to name 2 more companies other than Danube Building Materials. Can you remember any other 2? Yes, please.
Jotan.
Huh? Jotan, very good. Jotan are into paint, yeah. Yeah.
Amar.
Huh?
Amar.
MR is into development. They are not into building material. MR is into making the houses. But good, I like your, yes, Jotan 100% yes.
Home center.
Huh?
Home center.
Which one?
Home center.
Home center is into furnishing. Like they sell sofas and beds and all that. So they are not also into building material. But yes, the only question right was Jotan into building material. Home center also is very close but not into building material. Now why is Jotan famous again? Because the advertisement. Okay, and if you see a lot of places, they will see the boards of Jotan. So there are only few companies who will advertise, but there are 2,000 companies who are there in UAE who sell building material. So marketing is very, very important. Awareness of your product is very important if you need to sell your product. And not many people realize it. They feel that marketing is a way, it's an expense which you are paying and in return you don't get anything. But that is not the fact. You, as soon as you are aware, you start buying that product. Like for example, when he said Jotan, if I want to paint, the first thing I will go is to buy Jotan paint. And there will be 50 other companies who are selling paint. But because Jotan is registered in my name, I will go and buy that Jotan. Same way in the building material, we made our name so famous that anybody who wanted to buy building material, they would come to me and come to our company and buy the building material. So marketing is very, very important in whatever business you do, in whatever form you all can do. Of course, initially you don't have the budget, but there are, like I said, if you didn't have the budget, we put the wheel cover. Now the social media thing is there, so you can start using marketing your product on the social media. So marketing is a must for anything that you do.
So which social media platform is the most
most effective is Instagram, of course, we try to use, and of course YouTube, Google Ads also we do. But you will be surprised lately how TikTok is picking up. You need to market your products on TikTok because the way, I know when I say TikTok, many of you think no, TikTok is, people think TikTok only these not educated people are gone on TikTok, and you'll have a lot of the laborers and all that on the TikTok. But you'll be surprised the amount of big companies who are marketing on TikTok and how they have got that awareness of the product, because what happens on the TikTok, it gets very viral. When you put any subject, when you want to promote your product, and if you're promoting in a smart way, it really goes viral and the awareness goes farther. So yes, Instagram, TikTok, and of course Google AdWords.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions. It's an honor to be able to be the one interviewing you today. We are going to move on to questions from the audience. So, 5, 6 questions for you.
So, as you said, after you master everything, you need the correct and right people to manage. What do you look for when you hire someone?
What do I look when I hire someone? Okay, very, very good question. I really like this question. The most important thing I would look if I want to hire someone is his track record. When I say a track record of a person, the first thing which I look in a CV, is he jumping on his job too often? Because when you look at the CV, you will have a lot of people who are changing the job every 1 year, 1.5 years, or 2 years. But you'll find some people here changing the job, but they're working for each company for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Then they are moving to another career. So this is the most important thing I will look into it. And second thing, once I finalize that person, I will do his background check to the previous company where he was working to see how efficiently he was working. And third important thing is I would see how that person has grown up the ladder, which means you will see a person working as a salesman. From a salesman, he will become a supervisor. The supervisor became a manager became a complete a territory manager and the area manager. Now, that sort of a person, I will pick him up immediately because I know that person has the capability to grow further in my company. I would not pick up a person if he's working as a salesman for the 10, 15 years and still as a salesman. I would never pick up that person. So I hope I have answered what you wanted.
Thank you.
Hi. I want to ask, what mistakes you've done when you started your company?
Many mistakes. If somebody says that one has not done mistakes and everybody is right 10 out of 10, it's never possible. Just when I say mistake, some decisions which you take doesn't go in your favor. Like I started a paint factory, I remember almost 20 years ago, and somebody told me, and we were talking about Jothan, so I also started one paint factory 20 years ago, and I really wanted to make it big. But unfortunately, I could not manage it well because paint is a very combustible product, and little bit of fire it can burn the whole factory. And it did happen in my factory also. That immediately after starting the company within 1.5 years, the whole factory burned down and I had to stop. And not only I faced loss of my factory, but that factory burned away another 3-4 warehouses which were next to each other. So we faced a very severe loss around that time. So this I would say was a mistake because the profit was not very big, and I still went into making a factory which was not really needed when at time I was doing very well. So certain decisions in life you do take, and sometimes you don't realize that what could be the consequences, and it has happened with me also. This is not an incident which I'll never forget.
How do you set your prices?
How do you set your prices?
How do I set my price? Prices, we look at the purchase price, we look at the market, we look at the competition, and then we decide about the price. Because it's important that when you want to start any store, you need to know your competition level here. So we have our people who goes into the market. For example, if I'm talking about Danube Home, Danube Home is into home furnishing. Now home furnishing, I will send my people to Home Center, Home Zaras, and Pan and other competitors of mine. Then we decide that okay, the dining table is the Home Zaras is selling for this price, the other one is selling for this price. This is my costing. So my price should not be very cheap, or my price should not be very expensive. So this is how we try to study the market and then figure out the prices and accordingly put the prices. So it's important to understand the competition level when you put any prices, because if you don't know your competition level, you will always go wrong.
You mentioned being aware of competition levels from other, competitive companies that are competing in the same industry. But should that ever kind of affect your decision? For example, if you're interested in expanding on a new market and there are already lots of companies that have the same kind of idea or produce the same kind of product, how do you kind of deal with the fact that, oh, I'm not as famous as them and I'm a kind of startup company, but still I want to get into this market and I feel like I have the potential?
Yeah, it does happen many times when you go to a new market, you find that the market is matured and you have a lot of players who are there, already very competitive. So at that particular time, I would try to keep away from that market because the whole world is open to me. So I would rather go in a market which does not have that competition. Like, okay, today if you ask me, and then you go, I would not go to US because US is a very matured market and a lot of competition there. But I would go, I'm going to Africa now, expanding my Danube Home in Africa because there the competition level is less. So it's, and we still have a long way to go before I enter into a very competitive market. So I would rather catch hold of some markets which are not mature enough and try to capitalize on that. So why would I jump into something where I know that I may not be successful? So before we go into the market, we will do our complete check of the competition level of the market which is there and the requirement which is there, and then we decide which market we want to make.
So first of all, Hadiza, thank you so much. All right, done a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. And Mr. Sajan, again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It
Thank you
is
so much.
so incredibly important for kids to hear from people that have come before, the lessons that they've picked up while they begin to think about their own careers.
Thank you.
We do have a little thank you gift for you. You could just peek inside if you want. And please, guys, do stay if you want.
Oh, lovely, that is nice.